Hi everyone and welcome to Get Indie Gaming. In today's video we're taking a view of the top 5 best looking indie games out this July. The post-E3 summer months are traditionally seen as a fallow time for new games hitting the market. However, this year seems different, with quality looking titles metaphorically falling over themselves to get into your wishlist and download queue. Taking the first spot for July's honourable mentions, we have Sundered, the latest project from Thunder Lotus Games. Marrying semi-open world explorer mechanics to roguelike procedurally generated levels, this hand-drawn little beauty lands on the PC and PlayStation 4 sometime this July. With Resynth, we have a minimal-looking musical puzzler that explores the boundaries between soundscapes and digital gameplay. Out on the iOS this July 13th. The next game from the creator of The Binding of Isaac, The End Is Nigh, is a side-scrolling adventure puzzler in the vein of Super Meat Boy. Initially coming to the PC July 12th, we can also expect this one to come on the consoles at some time in the future. Iron Cryptical is an 8-bit twin-stick shooter with RPG elements for 1 to 4 players, and it's finding its way onto the PC, PlayStation 4 and Xbox this July 12th. Narrowly missing out on the top 5 and perhaps a surprise to many, Pyre finds its way onto the PlayStation 4 and PC this July 25th. Close to 3 years in development, this party-based RPG sees you lead a band of exiles to freedom via a series of mystical competitions. With Pyre being the last of July's honourable mentions, let's jump straight into this month's top 5. Taking the number 5 slot for July, and while it launched on iOS late last year, this one comes to the PC this July 21st. Shadow Bug by Muro Studios is a gorgeous action platform game that grabs your attention right from the start. Visually, the game is stunningly beautiful, particularly the hand-drawn backgrounds with their subtle but immersive parallax effects. The character art style and silhouetting also works well when offset against the game's wide-ranging colour palette. There's a pervasive feeling of creepiness similar to the likes of Limbo and Green Game Time Swapper, which thankfully stays on the right side of fun throughout. If you're a fan of action-packed puzzle platformers, then Shadow Bug is well worth adding to your wishlist. At the number 4 position this month, we have Mind Reflection, a physics-based puzzler from the team at Drunken Apes. As longer-term viewers already know, we're rather keen on this particular type of game, and this one ticks all the relevant boxes. Essentially, the gameplay boils down to navigating a ball around trapped-filled levels by way of successfully moving platforms to aid your progress. Looks-wise, we enjoy the slightly unnerving overall look and feel of the art style, and the same can be said for its soundtrack, which seems to pulse and throb as you make your way across the levels. Difficulty-wise, this one gets pretty hard fairly soon, and it's out now for the PC. Taking the first rung of the podium for July, we have Serial Cleaner, which is a story-driven, fast-paced stealth action game that's characterised by a 1970s theme and aesthetics. The protagonist cleans up murder scenes by disposing of bodies, covering up bloodstains, and hiding murder weapons and other incriminating evidence. Exploring, experimenting, and fast-paced decision-making are key for this game. We did at times find the antics of the guards and police to be somewhat limited. The AI seems to keep them on fixed paths, only following a new route if they see something within the environment that's changed or gone missing. Likewise, you can at times escape a policeman's clutches by jumping into a skip or hideaway, which cues your pursuer to instantly forget about you and go about their business. However, don't let this put you off. It's a thoroughly enjoyable game, with levels getting more diverse and with more guards as you progress. We particularly enjoyed the fact that each time you lose, the position of the bodies and evidence is randomly generated, meaning that you need to adapt your playstyle for each attempt. So in summary, this one's plenty of light-hearted fun, which puts us in mind of the classic stealth games from a few console generations ago. By the time this video airs, the game will be available for PC and both the PlayStation 4 and Xbox. Developed by Prideful Sloth, a team of 3 industry veterans working out of Brisbane in Australia, Yonder the Cloudcatcher Chronicles looks something rather different and yet familiar at the same time. At first glance, there's a clear view in as much it appears to be a take on the franchise of Zelda, particularly the open world of Breath of the Wild. Despite the similarities in the gameplay with a focus on both exploration and gathering crafting materials, Yonder has perhaps more in common with the likes of Harvest Moon and Stardew Valley. Shipwrecked on an island, players can explore 8 wonderfully looking distinct environments and can undertake a number of activities such as fishing, farming, crafting, brewing and cooking. In a twist to the usual gameplay of such games, this one features no combative aspects. Progression is earned through building relationships with the residents and by completing quests and ultimately helping them overcome an evil merc that's come to the island. In another nice touch, players are free to uncover the world of Yonder at their own pace, whether they want to see all of the corners of the islands or just stay in one area farming. Fans of action RPGs and classical farming sims, as well as MMO players that want to try something a little different, will definitely want to give Yonder a look. Out this July 18th on the PC and PlayStation 4. So, taking the number 1 slot for July, we have Black the Fall from the Sand Sailor studio based out of Bucharest in Romania. Almost 3 years in development, this one by the time the video comes to air will be live on the PC, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. The game features experiences the developer hopes will let players understand what it's like to live within a communist state. The overall look and feel of this dystopian puzzle platformer bears more than a nodding glance to Inside and manages to maintain a despotic tone throughout. We loved some of the in-game camera pieces that enable the impression of movement within 3D space, even though the gameplay is solidly 2-dimensional. To begin with, the game requires a strong element of stealth and platforming, avoiding a security camera, that sort of thing. Although the puzzles become harder and more interesting as the game progresses. The introduction of a robot dog certainly resonates and lifts the mood as it helps you reach ledges or stand on pressure points to help you move throughout the game. To some, the similarities to the likes of Inside may be a distraction. However, with that aside, Black the Fall is still worthy to sit at the table of similar games. It's gritty, harsh and at times harrowing, but it's well worth getting hold of if you're able. With Black the Fall at this month's number 1, that's all we have time for here today. Many thanks for watching and please come back to Get Indie Gaming later this July for more videos.